Wow, that was just lucky it was the same one. Because
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
great.
what those buttons are.
Yeah, we don't. They're dusty. Like there's like caked on dust and shit.
What'd you say about me?
Oh, that you're you're caked
knees.
up.
My knees are dusty.
Your knees are.
Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things Marvel's cinematic universe. And we're in the year of our Lord 2025, our very first MCU movie of the year.
In a
Wow.
while.
It's been a long time, but it's also been maybe like,
Wait, what the fuck was last year? Did any movie?
It's
come
also
out
been
last
like 1 month since What If. I was
it's
kidding.
been 1 week since No, this episode is spoiler full, so just off the top, off the dome here,
It's
and off
seeping
the
out.
top.
Seeping.
We're going to be going full spoilery mode, so if you haven't seen this movie, Captain America Brave New World, pause it right now, and run to the theater.
You have to run and pause it though.
You have to run, pause it, and the second the movie ends, press play loud on your phone.
Yeah.
Because we need those list downloads. And then email us so we can count those downloads as however many people are in that theater. And then take a picture of your receipt so that way we know it's you.
That you didn't pirate it.
That way we
Yeah.
all can also get the points for our,
could-
for
We-
every
yeah.
theater.
Is that a thing? Like, if I go on Reddit and I'm like, everyone upload your Regal receipts, I want a free popcorn right now.
Yeah, you get it. I don't think so.
That would be sick.
Hooters does
Someone
that.
should just sell it. Their
Hooters?
rewards.
Yeah, Hooters. If you scan a picture of your receipt and then you get like a free appetizer or some shit. at
For
some point.
real?
Yeah. You gotta start
I'm
going
be
to
scanning
Hooters.
receipts, bro.
I know, man.
They're wasting paper still. Email it to me.
My name is Emmanuel.
Hey, it's Andrew.
What's up? It's John.
It's been a long time, but I am actually going to look up the last movie. And actually, this is a fun test. What do you think the last MCU movie
The
is?
Marvels.
Wrong.
Oh, shit.
Uh,
The last movie?
Uh-huh.
Oh shit! I can't
Are-
think of it right now.
It's big.
It is
Oh,
a big
Deadpool
movie.
Wolverine.
Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. We were talking Deadpool. Wolverine.
That is, to be honest, that's forgettable for me. I'm just kidding.
It's not. It's just. It
It's-
doesn't feel. I mean, it does feel like an MCU movie, but it also doesn't because it's also very Fox.
Yeah.
Hey,
In some
you know,
ways, it's the
Foxy.
ultimate Fox movie. And in some other ways, it's an MCU movie.
Yeah, it's-
and that's
yeah.
kind of big. I watched Madame Web over the holidays. We haven't potted here, all of us, since the
Ah.
holidays. So, yep, we got to do that one too.
Yeah, I've seen the action scenes to Venom: The Last Dance.
We did watch
I
the
forgot
action
about that
sequence.
movie. You watched that one too?
No, we watched
Oh,
the action
okay.
sequences because, yeah.
And we got to watch Craven.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of MCU stuff.
That's
we
not
can,
MCU.
Oh, whatever. Marvel.
Adjacent.
Marvel movies.
It is a Marvel
The MMs.
cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I'm just-
Everything's canon now that they're in the multiverse.
Everything really is. So, yeah, next
X-Men
week.
97, Storms, and What If. There's no rules to this shit.
Next week, countdown to Craven 2. We'll watch Craven 1.
That's so Craven.
For some reason, the first trailer for Craven worked for me.
Sure.
I don't.
I was like,
can see-
oh,
Damn,
hell
and,
yeah.
well, because the first one's a teaser, and they show technically they're supposed to show you the least
Yeah.
of that movie, and that's why it worked.
The more I saw, the more. And you know what? Actually, that's a great segue to Captain America Brave New World, because I'd say
we
maybe
didn't see a lot.
one of the classic movies that I think I would have a different experience with if I didn't see the trailer. Although I probably would know quite a bit just from the things they allude to.
How do you get away
Yeah.
from trailers like this though? Because I think you watch a lot of like sports, right? And a lot of the promos
They
have,
get
like,
up there, yeah.
They
Jump-
know
they
they're
jump
like,
in
hey,
there,
these
yeah.
sweaty dudes watching this sports, they're the half the people that are gonna go
Yeah.
watch this movie.
And my algo is more than likely going to shove that in my face too, because I'm like always Googling Marvel
Yeah,
stuff.
movie
I,
news, yeah.
I am
Yeah.
on the least amount of social medias than I ever been in my life, but I still do see some trailers that I purposely still look away. Like I have
Yeah.
to do the old manual thing, just close the eyes.
That's the new move, I think, because this not just this movie, but other movies. And I watched a trailer that was really upsetting to me because it kind of
they showed like
unveiled
one of the
quite a bit.
cameos, I think, in one of the trailers.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding you.
So this is spoiler full. And also, if you hold on, if you haven't seen the movie and you haven't seen a trailer, you're
They've never seen a movie or a trailer.
you're
Oh,
in the
shit.
sweet spot.
Why are you listening to a podcast if you've never seen a movie?
Captain America: Brave New World is the fourth Captain America film, but the first since 2016.
16.
Civil War.
What are we counting?
Civil War is the last
It's
movie.
the last Captain America. Well,
the last
title
Captain
on it.
America
Yeah.
project was What If?
20.
with Captain
Yes, that's
Carter.
true. And the last time you've seen Captain America was Deadpool and Wolverine
Ah,
last
yeah,
year,
sure, yeah.
but not as. Captain America,
Oh
I guess.
yeah. Okay, you're right.
But Captain America, we know him, we love him, and for a long time portrayed by Chris Evans. And after the events of Endgame,
Snappy snap.
we got ourselves a Disney Plus series that we actually went episode by episode on. Go back and listen to that. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Wyatt Russell's in there. Go check it out.
Really, I would say a really fun show.
I think it was, that scene where, man, if you haven't seen that show, there's a specific scene, like right in the middle of the season where John Walker's U.S. agent just kind of loses it.
And
really captivating
Is this fair to
stuff.
say? And I guess like this is kind of talking about this movie already, but I would say maybe some of the best hand-to-hand Falcon combat sequences were in the show. Some of that stuff, especially with Wyatt Russell, was epic and like
Yeah, that 2v1
Sick.
fight scene with Winter Soldier
yeah.
and Cap v U.S. agent in the warehouse.
To get that shield off of him.
It starts the episode with that.
yeah.
It's crazy.
But yeah, anyways, that show happened. And then and they honestly introduced us to Danny Ramirez, who plays Joaquin Torres, or the new Falcon, introduced in that show. And it leads to this year's first MCU movie, Captain America Brave New World. We find Sam Wilson as the new Captain America, navigating kind of his role with Falcon in a new America, and honestly, a new world.
A brave
A brave new world.
new world, if you will.
The election of much like real life, the election of a new president,
An oddly colored president.
Thunderbolt Ross. Wait, no. Yeah, right. Thaddeus Ross,
Thunderbolt Ross, yeah.
played by Harrison Ford, replacing recast by William. Recast. Wait, how do you say that? Recast. Wait, recast.
Was recast.
Replacing.
William Hurt.
Recasted.
Yes.
Recasting.
Recastress.
Yeah.
Recastate.
Playing a castrated man. Harrison Ford. We've also got the sort of return of some characters from The Incredible Hulk, which we'll talk about later on too. Shira Haas plays Ruth Bott Seraph, a former Black Widow. She was really good in, I don't know if you all watch Unorthodox.
I have
on Netflix.
not seen it.
She
On
plays a
Netflix,
really
pretty
good character. I mean, she maybe was.
That's probably why she got this role. Probably.
Giancarlo Esposito is introduced into the MCU as Sidewinder Seth Volker, kind of a mercenary special ops serpent.
He's supposed to be a snake.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is
Actual dialogue.
yeah, this is in that'd be really good if it's Giancarlo just
hissing, just doing the snake jazz from Rick and Morty.
He's really doing. He's in Star Wars.
Yes,
He's in Star Wars.
in
Yeah.
as
MCU.
Moff Gideon.
Is he in DC?
DC, he's probably a voice in. He's Lex Luthor in Harley
In
Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
They're
Yeah.
serious. Boom, there we go. The trifecta.
Yeah, I was about to say he's an all around guy.
Yeah.
He's like
Yeah.
Pedro. He's
Yeah.
like he goes through all the.
Breaking
All the
Bad.
big
He's
ones,
in
you know?
Far Cry as the villain in one of the games. He's just everywhere.
I'm a little disappointed that he doesn't ever break away from the Gus Fring mold a little bit because he's always been kind of like a
He's
villain.
typecast.
You
Yeah, he's
have
typecast,
something
yeah.
I want.
Yeah.
And
I
that's the
don't-
way he talks in this movie. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, dang, like. but
Yeah.
That
It's
being
ba-
said,
it's
it's always
funny.
even though like it sounded like a gripe when I just said that, but that being said, it's always a pleasure to watch him. Like he steals the scene in this movie, like or whenever he's in
Yeah.
stuff, and whenever he's like kind of monologuing, and I know the dialogue's a little weird in this flick, but he's actually like he chews it up, and so I think it's always a pleasure to see Giancarlo Esposito anywhere.
And it's kind of crazy because I feel like because of his ethnic background, he's always getting cast as South American like type of roles. And Spanish was my first language. Ice don't come for me. But it's one of those.
He's talking to Ice Spice.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about Vanilla Ice. He follows me on Twitter. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah, he does. Anyway, I deactivated Twitter a long time ago, so no, he doesn't
Not
anymore.
anymore.
Anyway, it's crazy because I can tell that he doesn't fluently speak Spanish, so it's enough to trick people sometimes. But when
Yeah.
I was hearing him here, I was like, damn, he sounds Caucasian.
There's something about him.
Yeah, and so he does it in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul every now and
Yeah.
again, and I was like, "Damn it! I wish he would have worked on his Spanish a little more." But yeah, very cool in this movie.
So a lot of new things in this movie. It's directed by Julius Ona. If you've seen the Cloverfield Paradox, which I think is the Netflix movie, right?
Oh,
The least
that's where it
best
comes from.
Cloverfield, if you would.
And, this movie is set kind of in this political thriller with the world fighting over the resource of adamantium, a newly discovered metal.
Metal. Yeah,
it's
just a new metal.
Yeah, Cersei
Mineral.
essentially, or if that's the case, then you can just kill any Eternal. So are you telling me the Celestial's head in nowhere has adamantium?
It's
there?
hard to think of
And
there's a
so-
lot of it.
Yeah,
that much.
but think of what Cersei's power is. Cersei's power was to turn something into something else, and so
an element,
she
yeah.
possibly was able to turn it
Flip-flopped,
into
yeah.
adamantium. Or
Well,
crazy.
the governments are fighting over, not fighting, but there's a peace treaty over this new element on Celestial Island. There are some sinister forces at play. A
Mr.
puppet master
Sinister?
of sorts, I
Ooh,
guess.
yeah.
Another puppet master, many puppet masters
Yeah.
in the MCU.
A leader, so to speak.
And there's a lot of talk of redemption. There's a lot of kind of struggling through being a symbol for multiple people in this movie. But let's get into it. John, you watched it mere hours ago.
Yeah, and which I guess trumps what y'all just did. Which
Trump.
is like when I guess y'all saw it a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I
y'all
saw
were
it
able to-
opening day.
y'all
I
were
am
able
still
to
an
kind of-
MCU stan, baby.
Yeah.
Everyone fell off, but I never left.
I also watched it like 6 p.m. on that Thursday, which I like. And there's like 12 p.m.s now, which I'm like, damn, that'd be interesting.
yeah, that
Oh,
would
yeah.
be cool.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
today.
middle
I
of
mean,
the
well, I
day.
guess today was a holiday, but I was like, there were
true.
there were showings as early as 8:55 a.m.
No.
today. No, I'm not playing. But
That's kind of sicko.
And
what I just said
on
though is like, it
President's
was a
Day-
holiday though.
and
that's
it's
why.
a movie to do with the president on President's
That's
Day.
a little on the nose
it's
for
probably a little
Marvel
They
to
knew
do
what they were
that.
doing.
Oh.
Good job, Marvel.
Captain America: Brave New World. I kind of enjoyed it. Like it's a lot of. So I felt like to me that the strongest things about this that stood out was I think the leads. Like I really did think that Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie, really came into his own as the Captain America here. Like he is very. He has his shit together, as opposed to like, I think it's a continuation from where he was at in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he was kind of like on the fence, and some of that bleeds over here. Like he doesn't know if he's the correct guy for the job, since he doesn't have the serum and all this other shit. But I think this movie, in terms of like presence and star power and the way he handles himself, character-wise in the movie, like he's it, And I haven't read a whole lot of the Sam Wilson Captain America comics. It's very known that Sam Wilson becomes a Captain America, in the books. I haven't read a whole lot of those and stuff like that, but I never had a problem with
Kisses Thor.
with that. Also, Bucky becomes Captain America at one point, I think, before him too, and is a little bit more of a violent Captain America. But I really thought this movie was kind of cool, like in kind of setting him up as this future leader of the Avengers, I guess, or like the human Avengers, because I feel like he's gonna get he's gonna get Falcon there. He's gonna get probably even barking orders at Captain Marvel and this and that. And so the takeaway is that, and I think that there's also some jarring. It's weird seeing Harrison Ford in a Marvel movie to me. He looks like he's having a lot of fun. There's some parts where he's hamming it up, especially that part where he has a mustache in one scene. Like they do kind of show him have a mustache to make it look
He's
like
got to be angry, baby.
yeah, making it look like William Hurt's character.
Anger's a big part of this movie.
But the again, like a big takeaway
What does he do? He like throws the podium.
he kicks the podium.
He kicks the
off,
podium. Yeah.
And I just thought it's funny because you can tell there isn't a whole lot of seriousness in that scene for him, at least that way that I got from it. But he looks like he's having fun, and then Ford himself will tell you he's getting paid, so like it's all good for him. But it's jarring watching him there. But I did kind of like get used to him pretty quickly because he did, he did have some really cool scenes. I think the scenes where he's trying to show emotion and talking about Betty Ross, which is a returning character from The Incredible Hulk. Those scenes were pretty cool. Like you can tell he's really trying to act his heart out there. And it was working. It's working for me. He's legitimately sad, and I don't know how that would have went if we went like a William Hurt route, I guess. But, he's no longer here with us, but I don't know how that would have went, I guess. But Ford played it beautifully there. Some other big takeaways from this movie is the action. I felt like this movie was a lot of just stepstones to get to the next action piece in a way, sort of, which isn't a bad thing because I really enjoyed every single action scene.
It's a lot of Marvel movies also.
A lot of Marvel movies, yeah, sure, I do that. I think we're starting to see. I don't know if they've always been that way, or maybe we're just starting to now see the, you know, at the rate that they're cranking these out, like it's just a little bit more apparent.
Well, and at this point, this is maybe the 20th Captain America
Outing.
out,
or just in general, yeah, like
but
appearance.
fight sequence.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe even more than that.
Probably
I don't know.
more.
Yeah, probably like
more,
the
yeah.
30th, where we
Yeah.
see him throwing that damn shield, doing a scissor kick.
He's got a trilogy in each of his movies, and he fights 3 times in each movie, and then he's in all the Avengers movies,
That's true,
which he
yeah.
also fights probably about 3 times each.
So
Yeah.
the action is pretty great. Like I was kind of pretty satisfied for that, and especially to have like a new take on, like having, Sam Wilson, who used to be the Falcon, actually take up this Captain America mantle and have his own type of style to action or to fighting. Like I thought that was very exciting. Like everything is really cool. He's always using his wings. He's using his Wakandan armor.
And his words.
His words as well too. Yeah, and
Those are always yeah. Go ahead.
and so those are, that's very important. That's actually his words are what save the U.S. there at the very end. But so yeah, I think it was a really enjoyable movie. Like I dug it a lot, and I guess we'll unpack what, so that way I can kind of chew on it a little bit more. But everything kind of seemed to kind of work for me in this sense. It is a very kind of I don't want to say it because it sounds like I'm putting it down when I say like filler, middle of the road movie, but it does kind of feel that way, sort of. Like it does feel like this is kind of a little bit more of a big setup for future Avengers movies.
We talk about it, I think, in the last handful. I mean, a lot of the MC movies where that part is more evident than I think earlier on.
And even the way like it ends and stuff like that, you're kind of, because you do see like kind of some recycling of tropes that were used in the Winter Soldier movie, and then some of the themes that came, that are kind of the same thing from the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. So you're kind of getting these kind of recycled, but in a new kind of way, which is very, it keeps them fresh for me. I was engaged the entire time. But at this point, we're doing a multiverse type of like saga here, and that's why I guess maybe it feels a little like, it's a very grounded take, and I don't, it's necessary, like, I guess episodes for what's happening next, especially for the setup for the Thunderbolts and stuff like that. But overall, I thought it was fine. I know it's getting a lot of heat online for this and that, and I do kind of agree that, and I guess I don't know if I stand on that. Like, it didn't have to be so. It's a little safe, like politically. I think it wanted to say some stuff that they didn't want to. Obviously, like they don't want to alienate your fans and stuff like that. So, like, I get that part.
It's
very broad.
It's a movie about the president of the United States.
Yes, exactly. And so,
Yeah,
A lot of-
and not to like be too outside of just the movie, but Disney doesn't want to ruffle any feathers because
exactly.
the last time they did, they lost their ability to control their theme parks.
That's
because
true.
of-
Yeah, and I think, and maybe on that sense, like that's what I'm saying. Like it feels very obviously delicate when it comes to that regard.
It's tough.
Which would be, it wasn't jarring. I mean, it's not like a negative aspect for me, but I can see how some people will take aim with that. Like they're like, why didn't you go the extra mile and do this or do that? But to me, it was fine though, because it is like a superhero movie, and it is kind of like, there's very obvious
Yeah.
selling points where you're trying to get a kid to buy a toy.
And if that was the goal, it accomplishes it because there's very little, at least right now, there's very little controversy about this movie, apart from maybe people who are, viewing it poorly or something. There's not like a giant political backlash to anything about the movie,
Yes, exactly.
which in some ways is a big success because I'm sure that's what Disney wanted, but in some ways maybe less of like an artistic
right. I see that, and that's maybe that's
messaging.
and Drew
tool.
will probably expand on this, but he told me that, like, I mean, well, this is kind of fucked up, but I was like, but I mean, he had told me that, like, he's never thought of like Marvel movies as high art and stuff. Sorry for speaking for you, but like it is very digestible fun entertainment. Like when I see this movie and I kind of put it on par with
Endgame best movie of all time.
I put
so
this
I
on
don't know.
par of with other Marvel movies of the past. Like I think I would like it. I like it as much as I like. I mean, not the Winter Soldier because that's like kind of if you want to talk high art. No, I'm just saying.
That's,
Well, it's
that's as
hard.
close as the MCU gets.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's hard because the Captain America films, the other two or three, maybe even, you consider as some of the some of the peak MCU ever. The Russos and yeah. I mean they got the Avengers movie because of that, because of their outing. So yeah, it's tough comparatively because it's maybe like some of the greatest.
Yeah. So like I think I like it as much as like the first Avenger. And so and like I said, I love. At this point, I'm in the MCU. I mean, I'm not literally in it.
MCU, John's in you.
But I guess like
Canon, John.
we're all like balls deep in it. That like
MCU,
I care.
are you in yet?
I care what where Sam Wilson is. I care where Bucky is. I care where
These
where
are some of our
where
faves.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, you were asking me a million questions before the pod, and I was able to answer them because of how invested
Yeah.
I'm already. Like, I already know these things, and like, why would I not go check it out? If Secret Invasion wasn't enough to get me to leave, then ain't nothing gonna get me to leave.
So yeah, I dug it. I thought it was awesome.
Drew, what are your thoughts on Captain America?
I
Brave
fucking hated
New
it. Not
World?
my Captain America. Next.
NMC.
I voted red, baby. Red Hulk. I'm just kidding. No.
Mara.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. I think I saw the discourse online and from the big outlets, and a lot of it was, again, we said there's no political controversy with this movie, but there was a little bit of controversy with a couple of comments that Anthony Mackie had said before the movie came
I
out.
don't even know about this.
Which is, he said that...
Wait.
He said, guess what, dude?
It's okay to say, or
yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
So he said that
You never know nowadays.
yeah,
I'm like,
being
wait.
American isn't Captain America's defining trait, and that I get because he's already done it in all the Avengers movies. He didn't
Captain
fight.
World.
He didn't fight for just America in the Avengers movies. He's fighting for the world,
Humanity.
Yeah, he's gone to foreign, different,
wearing a
whatever.
flag.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just where he's from.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
And also, to be fair, in Earth 616,
'Cause-
Wakanda's kind of the
the capital of the world.
yeah, like they are
Oh, that's true,
the
yeah.
shining
And dude-
beacon of the hill of,
Dude,
of the planet.
I'm Captain Von Army. Does Von Army define me? No, but I'm just kidding.
Well,
But yeah, and so,
Are you defending it against the stray dogs,
but
the speeders?
yeah, so it was kind of surreal to hear that discourse because he's right, and if Chris Evans would have said it, there would have been no controversy whatsoever, But since we just happen to be in an election year and everyone's so on edge with any type of stance that anyone takes, it's obviously touchy.
Yeah.
So
And I
I
would say this movie's not like a super patriotic movie, anyways.
I think it was before they started to do the rewrites
really?
and stuff
Okay,
like
okay,
that.
okay.
And so that's why I think it upsets some people, because if you want to address any of that stuff, it's usually in one of these movies specifically because of what he
Yeah.
stands for. The other ones don't have to do with government and,
I mean, if anything, they're super
politics.
skeptical, and
Yeah.
it's like
It's,
Captain America's like, oh shit, conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly. Big Brother's watching you, and so
The deep
makes,
state.
It makes sense to address it here, and I know why people are upset because you have mostly minority-led movie that's conforming, that feels like it's conforming, So I get that part, but other than that, I think with the production hell that it went through, I was very surprised. I expected way worse because it was still being filmed last week,
No way, I didn't
They were
know about that.
no, it's not. It was just
Oh,
a figure of speech,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it was still being like reshoots were like 2 months ago or
I'll say that,
post-production.
like, to be honest, I don't really follow. I didn't know much about this movie.
Yeah.
I just knew it was coming out.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I was telling John about the alleged different things that ended up going on with it, but I can see on how they salvaged a lot of it and why certain things went the way they did because of that, and because it was too expensive to whatever. So it should have been way worse. It should have been some Justice League, the Justice League type of business,
Okay.
Snyder Cut. Type of like, oh man, production.
Watch what
hell.
you say, Drew.
But yeah. The rest of it, entertainment wise, as a comic book fan, I think I'm open to interpretation. So you get some comic book purists that come forward because it's not exactly comic book accurate, or because you gave the Incredible Hulk's cast, and you just kind of threw Captain America in an Incredible Hulk sequel, to a sense, because the both your villains are Incredible Hulk villains. The reason Betty Ross is an Incredible Hulk supporting character. A lot of that stuff is from their world, but I am open to interpretation because I know the MCU is obviously its own thing. And I like John said, I think the biggest thing that this does was solidify Anthony Mackie as Captain America for me. I said Anthony Mackie because I know that Sam Wilson is Captain America. I've seen him do it before in the books. I have his first appearance up at in the room. Like when it was first happening, I just got hired at the comic book store, so I got to hear the discourse, and it was cool because Captain America ends up going that all new. That's what he's called, all new Captain America. He goes into a storyline where people say not my Cap because of the politics and racism and stuff like that. So I've seen Sam Wilson become Cap, and I know that he is, but I didn't really buy Anthony Mackie as it so much. And I don't know if it's because of star power. Because if you look at when both of them got the shield, Anthony Mackie is more of an established actor than Chris Evans was when he got the shield. Because Chris Evans was in these kind of like B movie, C movie, romantic comedy type of shtick that didn't really do too hot at box office, but were entertaining enough to kind of keep his thing going. And then his big break is when he gets to Captain America. So I like Mackie because not only is his character like that, where he was in the army already, he was a veteran. And he was talking people off, counseling, helping soldiers after they came back from the war. And so he was such a good-hearted person with so much experience. And to see someone inherit that role is pretty cool because, again, that's what Mackie is to an extent. And he holds his own with someone like Harrison Ford, where he's talking him down on the ship. Yeah. And he's counseling, another Army vet and not the president of the United States. And both of them are just acting their hearts out. And that's the moment where I was like, oh, man, I really do buy it. And then, of course, the action sequences where I think they knew that they wanted to put this Cap against, like, raw political, physical, and mental power to kind of solidify his spot in this world. Because, you look at, when you think of Green Hulk fighting the Steve Rogers Cap, you're like, damn. Green Hulk's going to smash his ass up like crazy. Mm-hmm. And so when you think of Falcon Cap or Sam Wilson Cap.
Captain Falcon.
Yeah, going up against another Hulk, Red Hulk. Well, Red Hulk isn't as strong as him. He has a couple of different powers and stuff. It just sounds like, oh, man, he's going to get mollywopped. So the fact that he doesn't, and he's able to be a little bit more tactile, and I love that about him. He's able to kind of be vicious a little bit more than Steve is because he needs to be.
Yeah.
And he shows that with Sidewinder, where he drop kicks him and kind of knocks him out with no remorse, or he starts to throw knives into people. He's actually cutting up Red Hulk, and he kicks the thing into his like rib. You can tell it's a little bit more vicious when he needs to be because of the fact that he doesn't have the super soldier serum. So, but I really did love this movie. I think it's really, really cool that you get a lot of color in here. Pretty cool for representation. You know what I'm saying?
I thought literal. I was like, I think there's only final fights in the cherry blossom.
Red.
Yeah, it's pink and red. And it's sunset.
But no, I meant mostly minority led, which is really, really cool. And then if the minorities aren't going to go, if the minorities aren't going to go see this, then don't be complaining when it's just a bunch of white guys for the next year because you didn't go to support this one. But very, very cool. And I love Samuel Stearns, Tim Blake Nelson as an actor. So it's it's really, really cool to see him come back for a version. Everyone wanted the big head, and they're like, "Where's the rest of his head?" And I was like, I'm okay with this MCU type of
he plays a
version.
Great sort of evil force type. Remember him in Watchmen?
Yeah, that's Looking Glass, dude. Yeah, and so
that was good. And water.
Yeah, exactly. Buster Scruggs. But
the villain of that film, Buster Scruggs.
So I love Tim Blake Nelson. To see him in any capacity in the MCU, especially on something that I didn't think they were going to touch up on because of how everyone treats the Incredible Hulk. Which I think is crazy because there's been multiple recasts in the MCU, but
second MCU movie ever,
and no one ever really gave it the chance because of the fact that they switched. But I was always a big fan of the Incredible Hulk, and I was always I still am. We're watching it in the background right now, so I was telling John, like, man, I was kind of critiquing some of the Incredible Hulk over there. But
does Universal still have the right, or does Disney just have the Hulk now?
I am not sure because they haven't made one yet.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I don't think
so?
they. I think it's still
think
some time, a little bit
Universal.
of time.
Well, I
Okay.
also don't. I mean, if you think of it, I don't know.
Not to say there would ever be a Hulk movie, but we're using a lot of Hulk folk in a lot of
right,
MCU stuff.
but I don't
now.
think they can use like the actual like
She-Hulk.
Hulk like movie, like because like Universal. I don't think Universal's gonna let that go.
Yeah, they wouldn't give it up for nothing,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's
Well,
the whole
and
thing.
to be honest,
so.
like Betty turns into the Red She-Hulk
Yeah.
in the comics, and so there's a couple of more things now that you reintroduce Betty and stuff, and you didn't
Mm-hmm.
kill off anybody here, so you kept the Red Hulk alive,
And
you
Hulk-
kept the leader alive.
Hulk is in the Mount Rushmore of Marvel characters, period.
For
Yes, in
sure.
general.
And
So,
so,
that's a big
And there's a couple of things like I think at one point Bruce Banner does become Red Hulk.
I can see that.
So I think a personality of the Hulk. So in Hulk's very first appearance, it's everyone knows the green and gray thing, where they ran out of green ink, the printer printed it out wrong, so he turned out gray. And so
I remember gray
in
Hulk,
the
yeah.
comic he turns green.
It's
but
a bowl cut.
Yes. In the comic, he turns green, yes? But they find a way to retcon the gray one back in. The green one repressed the gray one for so long that it kind of was like an infant or like a kid. And so when the gray one pops out again, his name is Joe Fixit.
That's
and
funny.
Joe Fixit is the one that becomes the Red Hulk eventually.
Sleepy Joe Fix It?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a yeah, and you remember Patch in Deadpool Wolverine, the multiverse, where you see Wolverine playing poker with a white suit and an eye patch.
Mm-hmm.
That him and Joe Fixit become super big like friends, and they all wear suits together. And so there's ways to go with this, obviously. And
If they
She-Hulk,
get more- yeah.
yeah, She-Hulk introduced Scar, Hulk's son, and so
That's true. And that happens pretty late in the
that's-
thing, and then it's credits.
when you can flash back to Worldbreaker Hulk of when he's trying to take over
Yeah.
Sakaar, and that's where he had the baby and stuff. And so there are things that they can do now that you're introducing the Sentry. Maybe you can make the Sentry
Sentry's gonna be wild.
fighting World
That's-
War Hulk. And
I don't know if I want to see some baby making Hulk though. That's kind of wild.
I don't know, dude. Did you notice that in this movie he does the supersonic clap? Boy,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that one,
I saw
I
that,
saw
yeah.
he
that.
does the
Sonic clap.
supersonic ass clap in the World War Hulk.
I
And he claps him cheeks. But yeah, I'm ranting on because I love how much I love the movie. And but yeah, and so
did kind of geek out when he did the Sonic clap. Like,
Dude. I
after
thought that was
the
funny.
I was like, holy shit, that's
I
cool.
was like,
And,
I can't believe
I
they
mean,
did
when he's
that.
holding the American flag and then throws it at a jet, I was like, this is fucking cool. Like this is amazing. And then
unmanned jet.
and
I
then
think it's
Sam-
a drone.
yeah, it's a drone. Yeah.
Sam just plays it super well. Like I was telling John, I said you could tell they have a whole bunch of anime inspiration. We watched one called My Hero Academia, and there's a character that has wings, and he shoots out the feathers. And so when he's throwing these out, I can't help but see that. And so I was a big fan of pretty much everything. And I can look past that other stuff because the other stuff's not their fault. Like the recut and having to make dates
Yeah.
and this and that. That's the movie business.
And that's, I think, a fair assessment. I don't think, obviously, Anthony Mackie is an OG Avenger now. I mean, he says "on your left" in maybe the most noticeable, recognizable line in all
Yeah.
of MCU. It's him. He has an amazing turn as Falcon, I think, throughout, and it's also like he still brings that stuff. I mean, there's an aerial fight in this movie
That
Captain
Yeah.
America
Sick.
can't do,
Dude,
but it's like,
it was sick too. He throws the shield at the missiles.
oh
and-
yeah,
Oh man.
So
He
I
absorbs
think
one,
I
yeah.
think it's fair to say that Anthony Mackie is not only Captain America, but like a great version of who his Captain America is. I do kind of wish we got some more of the Sam Wilson stuff from the show because that was like, remember he
Yes.
like tries to get a bank loan.
Right. Yeah.
He's like living life, and I thought there would be some more of that because this was his movie,
Right.
And I was like, man,
I agree.
he's
I
gonna
agree.
Anthony Mackie's about to cook, but I know it's hard to when you're like Harrison Ford
he's co-leading the movie.
is President Ross, and he doesn't, and that's a huge.
Who's top billed on this movie?
I think it's still Mac.
I think it's gotta be Mackie.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's
Yeah,
Mackie.
and Harrison.
Honestly, it's
so-
gotta be Mackie,
and
or
so-
I'm walking.
well,
Like,
and-
that's messed up.
And yeah, because also racism. But
Yeah.
Harrison Ford's also been playing it super well. Like with the press he's doing, people would be like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
what do you think of this Falcon Cap America?" And he's like, "No, this just Captain America."
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm like, "Oh man, like he's really having fun with it." And I think at some of the press tour, like Anthony Mackie wasn't there, and it was just him and homeboy who plays the new Falcon. What's his name?
Danny Ramirez.
Yeah,
Something
Danny
towards-
Ramirez.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, that's really cool. So I was just surprised to see Harrison Ford get as involved as he was.
Yeah, and he
in here.
does
And
great.
they left him alive.
And in some ways, this is like a thing in the movie's favor for me personally is just Harrison Ford is the president again in something.
Air Force
and
One.
I'm just like, cool. Like
He's on Air Force One at one point also.
I voted for him in the real election this year, and he's like, I'm like on board for that. And it's also not his first time in there's something like Harrison Ford is in some of the best political thrillers
Yes,
ever.
yes.
He's freaking
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan,
Yeah.
like one of the best Jack Ryan. So it's it's like great to cast him because that alludes that we're going to be in a kind of movie that Harrison Ford is like worthy of. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I think it is. I think there's a lot of Falcon and Winter Soldier that is almost required viewing for something like this. I would say you don't even really need to know about Celestial Island. It's nice to watch Eternals. That's not like a huge
I like Eternals.
must. Most people have watched Hulk, I'm sure, but it's like,
it's
you get
more
a
of the-
lot of that.
It's more of the forgotten projects, though. I would even say that
That's true.
Falcon and Winter Soldier is a little bit more forgotten in the modern age than it
It kind of is.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Disney Plus looks back on that and they're like, man, we thought it was like, that was like a number 3 show. But now they're like hoping to get a Falcon Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
around anymore. But anyway, I digress. I enjoyed Danny Torres. Joaquin Torres. I think his Falcon as kind of Sam Wilson to
Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers is kind of fun and cool to see, especially since it seems like we're going to be building up to a new Avengers at some point.
And he's a techie, so that's like something that Falcon or Steve Rogers didn't have.
Super huge,
So
yeah.
he's like building stuff to counteract the leader, and you're like, whoa, like he's the reason why you stand a chance.
There's a lot of that kind of thing still too, which is what is the role of Captain America plus the military and the president. I think there's even a moment where he's kind of alluding to some of the Civil War stuff when he's like, what if you give an order I don't agree with? And I was like, oh shoot, it's coming back around or whatever. There's
the
still
one-
mind control, there's still espionage. It is a political thriller. I wasn't necessarily like super tense about it much. I will say,
yeah.
and part of it is because we've watched every MCU thing. I don't even think it was like Tim Blake Nelson. He like whispered the first syllable and was like, I fucking like I
That's
know
him.
who that is.
Yeah.
I know exactly and I know what he looks like. I know it in my mind. He looks messed up right now. But I still like the fact, and at some point though, I feel like there will be a limit to the many conspiracies in the MCU. Before the pod, we were talking about how many there are. Shield is gone. There's Saber, right? What is it? Sword? What's in space now?
Sword.
Yeah.
Sword. Okay. There's many groups here. Skrulls were a huge deal. And we've uncovered another conspiracy here, which is, Samuel Stearns has been hidden in a bunker and kind of like a political advisor
And
to.
who knows making what? Like this
Who
might
knows
stuff,
what he's making,
This
yeah.
might be coming back around of like these weapons that
Yeah.
he made X years ago.
Slowly poisoning or maybe fixing or maybe just morphing the genetics of
people.
the
Yeah, in general.
president of the
Yeah.
United States because he knew he'd be like pissed off at some point or something.
It started like it was help first because obviously Ross had a heart attack and that's what made him want to heal the connection with his daughter now. And so he almost died. The only person keeping him alive was the leader for a promise. Hey, you let me go when you become president. Cool.
I'll pardon you.
Didn't happen.
He should have helped DJT. He would have kept his promise and he would have pardoned him no matter how awful,
Dude,
no matter what he
I'm telling
did.
you what, if Samuel Stearns was there at the Capitol on
Pardon.
January,
Full,
he would
complete
exactly, dude.
Pardon. I think I texted. I think it's also crazy. I think I texted right after the movie. I was like, they should screen this at the White House. We should find out what it's like. Because the craziest thing, and this is also another gripe I have, not with the movie, but with the
with
fact that
real
Red
life.
Hulk was. I get you want to drive people to theaters, but we saw a lot of Red Hulk in the trailers. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
just put myself in the shoes as someone who just had no idea that was happening. And I would have been like over the moon and be
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh. But anyways, that's like a side thing. That has nothing to do with the movie. That's just like I get it. But also that sucks. But also, do you remember the thing that like pushes him over the edge? It's the lamestream media asking
Exactly,
him
yeah.
questions. So let this be a lesson.
trying to cancel him.
Trying
That's
to
why.
cancel the
They were trying to
president
cancel
of the
his ass.
unit.
And he hulks out. Yeah.
What did the real president tweet recently? I think it was like
The real president.
he said that something done for the purpose of the country can't be
he-
illegal or something.
Is
Like
he, like Richard Nixon. But is he about to Hulk out?
that's what I'm saying. I'm
the
so
Orange
interested in this movie and the
Orange
perception
Hulk.
because in some way it feels like a cautionary tale. Don't
Yeah.
let this guy get close to power. But in some
Hey,
ways
dude,
you're
he
like,
can't change, bro. He can't change.
but also he won the election. Ross won for
Yes,
being
by a
tough,
landslide.
by a landslide.
I'd like to point
by
out
being tough, by probably being a little like
he went up against Pepper Potts.
seclusionary. I know he's like trying to get this treaty done, but I'm sure some of it was like America needs that celestial island, and that's why people voted
Yeah,
for him.
he does say that in one scene. Remember, he's like, "I'm not."
Yeah.
He's like, "If one
Yeah.
country's gonna have it, it's gonna be us."
And I bet some people
He's
in the
like, "I'm a
audience were clapping.
I'm a
They were like,
wartime
hell
president."
yeah. That's our island right there. But anyways,
storm that island.
yeah. And I think that when we've got so much, and like we've already talked so much about this movie, and we haven't even talked about Isaiah Bradley, who's like a big part of the movie. And that's
it's
why
the entire motivation of why
Captain
is
wants to
doing
do
this.
that's
Yeah.
when it becomes personal. Like
Right, yeah.
literally it's not personal for him, it's because it happens
Wrongful
friend.
imprisonment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a huge part of Falcon and Winter Soldier too. And that's I think why I understand if there's a lot happening that I mean and Isaiah Bradley is sort of goes to prison. He stays there for a while and then he's out again,
I would have
like
busted
it
my
comes
ass out, bro. I'm
But
Captain
it is-
America. I would have just fucking headbutted the wall and then ran out.
But that's like a heartbreaking thing. There's a moment where he gets arrested because he was
Dude.
and he's running away and he's like,
Yeah,
I
he's talking
can't go
about the
back. I was
suit,
like, oh
yeah.
man.
I ain't going back
That's
to the
tough.
pen.
But it's like a huge part of the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
That
See, it still got. And so I told John, I said, I know that they took out a lot of the political stuff,
yeah.
but I can read between the lines. So that a little bit,
Yeah.
the little bit that they left in, I can still see and read.
Yeah.
So it's enough for me, baby.
And
but
it's
I
also-
get that people need shit spelled out because you see our orange Hulk of a president that we got.
I would say they spell out a lot too.
They do spell.
I
yeah,
think
they don't-
especially when it comes
Yeah.
to Tim Blake Nelson and to their credit, it's
Especially
probably
to
because
that,
some
yeah.
people forgot who he is, and
Yeah, Buster
I would totally
Scruggs.
get it. And then Ruth Bat-Saraff, who is the former Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty sick because this movie seems like if I ask you like what the movie's about, I'm just like I didn't read any interviews or anything, but it seems like it's about redemption.
Yeah.
For Ross and the Red Hulk, of course. For her, she's a former Black Widow. For in some ways,
Cap trying to
Cap.
just measure up to the other
Yeah.
Cap.
I don't know necessarily about Stearns. I don't know what.
I think
'Cause-
Stearns is very classic
Yeah.
villainy. Like it's
It's
very
it's
to
the
me,
tragic thing of like making
guess
the villain.
so.
He also is
They
imprisoned.
said
I
in
guess
the other one he was supposed to be like way more villainy. Like I'm
Yeah.
just doing this to be evil, but here they're like, hey, dude, you
But
see
do
they
remember the-
abused him.
Do you
He was still
remember
pretty
Zemo?
villainy.
He was
Yeah.
a good puppet master too.
That's a
Like,
good one,
That was,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that maybe was like because that was for Civil
Well,
War. He got
and-
Iron Man to fight
well,
Captain
and-
America.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, because like you think about it, and like you remember Tim Blake Nelson in this movie that we're watching, Incredible Hulk. Like he was just curious, and so he was forced to make the abomination at gunpoint.
Not his fault.
General Ross, if he would have gotten found out, he wouldn't make it. He wouldn't have made it to Secretary of State.
Yeah.
And so he needed someone to pin it on, and so that's what it goes. That's the motivation there, and obviously, he needs to atone,
Hmm.
and that's what comes back around this movie, just turning him into what he hates, which is the Hulk.
And that's why I think it's like a solid movie. I think it's a solid post Endgame movie. Whatever that means, it is still very like the world is just so big. The MCU is just so vast.
Well,
And
it's starting to feel like a comic book now because there is like when you go to the weekly issues,
Yeah.
you're like, man, how is like we're fighting a group in Wakanda, but we're also fighting someone
Mm-hmm.
in Russia, and there's like it makes sense why they're like, how come they
Yeah.
can't be everywhere? It's like everyone's got their own crisis. There's a nuclear
and
bomb
we're
about to
learning.
go off,
And we'll talk
alien
about like
invasion,
where this leads and stuff too. But I mean, like we're gonna get a Wolverine because we've got
Yeah, adamantium.
we got the adamantium. Yeah, we can make quite a few if we really wanted to.
We can make Lady Deathstrike and Wolverine, baby. We
all
got enough.
kinds and vibranium,
Omega
and we've
Ray.
got.
They're gonna make him a new shield because you see everyone just keeps like the Red Hulk fucking
Yeah.
bending that shield a little bit, and
What did you
Thanos
think about-
tearing one in half.
He also got kind of he's got a vibranium wing set.
He gets that in Falcon, Winter Soldier.
That's
Falcon, Winter
true.
Soldier.
Yeah, that's because the
Because the Dora Milaje pop up.
yeah, they're a huge part of it. Like
That's
they
the
show
only
up.
reason why he can take a bunch of the hits.
Yeah, I was
that
like,
Red
I
Hulk.
liked
yeah.
it. I think they needed to do something with, like, obviously him not having the super soldier. Like
That's
he's
like
still
the most interesting part of the superhero-ness of it.
Well,
I think.
and
yes, I think so too.
He's
I
a
mean,
human.
But it's also like I think it's kind of like a very underdoggy Captain America the entire sort of movie, even though he is kind of OP. Like
he takes out like
not
20 guys
losing.
in a room,
Yeah, I
like
was like, he's not
Daredevil
really
or like
losing.
Batman.
He's still the ultimate U.S. I don't know, War Machine, I guess is
Yeah,
quite
that's true.
quite
kind of
formidable.
powerful too. Yeah, he's not around, even though I think he works in the White House.
Oh, he's a scroll. Remember?
Oh, shit.
Shoot! Look at that! I forgot he's a Skrull, but from when? That was the big
Yeah,
thing.
that was a big thing. But
That's why he looked like Terrence Howard.
Oh my God,
Terrence
he
Howard,
gives
I was
such good. We really at some point we gotta find out since when, because there are
Army
some
Wars.
really big moments
Logistic
that we really
issues.
need to make sure if it's a Skrull or not.
I
kidding.
did like
did
his-
the Skrull break his legs or was it Rhodey?
He's in fact, yeah, whatever.
he is really good. So like the vibranium suit and stuff like that, I thought that was cool because
And-
it just it levels the playing field for a human
And
Cap.
to me,
Yeah.
there was always a logistic issue with Steve Rogers' Cap, where someone has there's a line of guys shooting at him with machine guns, yes, and when he covers himself, he only covers the top half of his body.
Shoot his
And
knees.
so, yeah, exactly. And so for me, the suit
He has a
absorbs
better-
it
yeah.
absorbs the kinetic
and
energy.
he flies.
And it's
Come
like
on.
it's like
Yeah,
a
he flies, yeah.
John Wick and
Yeah.
Kingsman, where you shoot the suit and it's all bulletproof.
Yeah.
And so I like that
And
here
it
a little more.
leans, and he's got like maybe multiple red
Red
Hawk,
wings.
red
Red
wings.
wings.
Because at some point there's like 2 or 3 that are just like
One of them shooting
human.
a laser and the other one shooting a regular machine gun. Sick as fuck.
They ain't doing shit.
Yeah, they're distracting him, and that's the point.
Yeah, and it's also still part of this grounded Starkiverse where everything, like the mechanical spider.
Yeah,
suit,
yeah,
And
it's
that's
still
true.
that
so
thing.
that was something that I always wanted to see because in Iron Man 3, when he does the house party protocol, I was like, damn, if you would have kept those suits, it would have been sick to fight Thanos. Like doing the house party protocol and then having each Avenger suit up, like in the Mech Strike War
Yeah.
in the comics. He makes a suit for every single person. Except for Thor, because Thor doesn't need one. But
And we still have War Machine, but also Ironheart's going to be maybe a little
yeah,
bit,
that's-
a
that's
little
Machine,
bit of that.
War
kind
Machine
of
is
thing.
supposed to be in Armor Wars, but I heard that that's in pre-production hell.
That might be canceled.
Yeah,
And he's a
it
Skrull
might-
now.
it might get- but
Everyone's a Skrull.
Maybe that's what actually led to maybe some of that being like kind of pushed
Yeah.
to the side.
and
like, oh shit, maybe
that's
not.
that's what I like about the Wakandan thing is everyone's sharing tech amongst each other on the heroes, and that makes so much sense logistically. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, that does make
and
sense.
it's yeah.
Get
and
Black Widow and Iron Man suit. What the fuck?
I also really like that about the movie is the scope of the movie is it is a he is protecting he's working for the president. We're talking about the military. It's like that. He is our country's superhero. And with all of the symbolism and all that means, but also we're not like bothering we're not bothering our other superheroes to deal with geopolitical
Hey, you know why?
stuff.
'Cause
we
it's
got, we got
classified.
Captain America. That's true. They don't know.
They don't have the clearance. They don't have the rank of captain.
Yeah.
They don't play him on Marvel Rivals as their main.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna play a really quick trivia game.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me look at this.
All right, cool. I'm down.
Wow. Damn.
Already an hour, huh?
No, but we're touching.
2.3.
We're touching.
It's beefy.
It's
Hey,
a beefy boy.
We're tracing the outlines on the outside.
But this is a really quick trivia game as well. And
We'll see about that.
it will be because it'll be one of those things where we pass off. So actually, Drew, pick odd or even.
What happened to Doc Samson? I guess are we ever gonna get?
You talking
him
about
back?
Ty Burrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
Oh,
Doc
yeah,
Samson
the-
is a.
The cook. No, he's actually not. He's probably not.
I mean, well,
I mean,
Banner was
Banner's
better,
the cook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he can't.
but now he is like
If now he's
Yeah.
gonna blow up inside her. It's gonna be like the weenie exploding, like when you put it in the microwave for too long.
Ruffalo and Tyler have never been in a Hulk,
no,
right?
not together. No.
But he pines for her
I'm
constantly, right? Oh no, and maybe
it's
Black
a
Widow a
classic.
little bit, but
But it's a classic type of like. I mean, they don't say it. I think they. I felt like an Incredible Hulk, which is funny because like this movie. I don't know if we've said that before or we said it actually on the podcast, but the Captain America: Brave New World is a Hulk sequel. Like it's a.
it is.
To me, it's more
Yeah.
Hulk. It's a lot of Hulk characters.
You
with
got
Captain
Liv
America.
Tyler.
But with you have the leader is
she's
like
the
a.
MacGuffin.
She's
The
the
leader
MacGuffin.
is a villain. Like the leader is, and he's doing
Yeah.
mind
and the
control,
Red
which-
Hulk is a villain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're all doing a bunch of like Hulk-like things with Captain America at the center, which
Yeah.
is kind of wild.
If not for Isaiah Bradley, Falcon or Captain America wouldn't be like
Yeah, it'd be Hulk too.
interested
Yeah, yeah.
in this
And-
story. He'd be
and
like,
I think that's a lot to do with the MCU writing themselves into a corner to an extent, a little bit, because
Yeah.
they're like, we don't have anybody left. Like, what the fuck are we gonna
That's
throw at
also
him?
true. Yeah, but because of that, though, we haven't. My point was, I guess, like they were trying to kind of distance themselves from this movie a lot, and then like what
She-Hulk
Drew said,
happened when
like
they
what Drew-
brought in Abomination.
Yeah, it's like what Drew said. Like they kind of wrote themselves like, well, what else do we have? Like, what can we mine from?
Red Hulk's on fucking Voromir. We can't have him fight. I mean, Red Skull, not Red Hulk.
and I guess if you're talking about the space that Cap plays in, which is the country and the military, I mean, that's another big. I mean, he's like the military hero. He's got like friends who are just special ops.
Yeah,
who
yeah,
do him
they're
favors.
like they're soldiers.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's like where
What kind of
that's
favors?
that's the place he plays in, and that kind of
Sandbox.
espionage. So you really would have to figure out who at that level. Maybe it's the president. Like it's got to be that.
Like, who are you gonna have him fight Armadillo?
I know. Shield's
No one
gone.
wants
Like
to
there's
see
not
him.
much for you to even
Yeah,
like.
No one
that's
wants
true.
to see him fight Armadillo.
I know.
Baron Strucker gone.
Oh shoot, the game.
The
Fuck.
game,
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
I was about to dive into the cameo,
second-
the two cameos in this, but we'll wait. Well, after the pod, or after no, not after the pod. After this game, it's a quick game. What we're gonna do, and we talked about Harrison Ford replacing Will Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross, President of the United States of America. That this has happened 5 other times in the MCU.
Ooh.
And,
and you
basically, you guys are gonna pass the baton until somebody. It's hot potato style until someone can't think of one.
Yeah, so
A
you're asking me
president from
even
the
or odds?
MCU?
Even or odds?
I will take odds.
I wrote down 6.
Fuck.
So-
Six presidents in the MCU.
What?
John, do you want to go first or last?
I go last because
Okay.
I may have
So
missed
you
So
wanna get
he's
the easy
talking
one.
about recasting, and it's happened 5
Ah,
other
okay,
times.
okay, okay.
Where has it happened? So we're
Yeah.
gonna keep going until one of us fails.
And
Yes,
Drew is
yes,
going first because you
yes.
said you want to
Cool.
go second.
Okay, cool.
Drew, what is one recast in the MCU?
One recast in the MCU is William Hurt to Harrison Ford.
I will count that,
But he didn't write that.
but there are 5 others. John, which is crazy because it means you don't know the other 5.
I was
if
just
you're
trying not to
starting-
start with the easiest ones to leave me an easy one
Ooh,
for the
that's
next one.
smart.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
Yeah.
Recast would be
Go for a tough one, John.
Edward Norton to Mark
Oh, how
Ruffalo
dare you do
for
that.
Hulk.
I forgot. That was
It's
the
a
one
good
I was
one,
gonna
yeah.
do next.
I would say maybe
We're
that's
watching
like
that right now.
maybe that's the number 1. Don't you think? Because that's like
Totally.
Do people disown
Avengers.
them
It's a
this movie
giant-
because of that?
We're
I
talking
feel-
about what if. Like that would have. What if
Yeah.
that like
I-
Norton would have been in the
And in
Avengers?
some
That's
ways,
crazy.
you can't pick 2 actors. Well, maybe you could, more different, but those 2 are different.
contrast.
Yeah, they contrast heavily.
It is, odd because I feel like some people don't even think that this is connected to the MCU.
Yeah.
Like, because I always tell people like Robert Downey Jr. is at the end of that movie, and they're like, "Are they? Is he really?" I said, "I swear to you, like he's at the end of that movie."
It's like the Avengers
So they, like,
initiative
freaked
is
out.
happening. Yeah,
But whatever. Terrence Howard, War Machine.
it's a good one. That was
Oh.
also like
now I'm running
Judge
out.
Faith.
we'll vamp a little bit. But Terrence Howard, Don Cheadle, and Terrence Howard not doing it over like such maybe like one of the most minor contract disputes
He
possible.
looked at the armor and was like, "Next time,"
that's
and he
pretty
lied to me.
interesting.
That
didn't
is
sign on.
very. It's fair though, because in Hollywood, that's
Yeah.
you do want that. You
You
So,
don't want to be
like-
underpaid.
Yeah, exactly.
All the fucking characters, all these actors want to take over these movies for some reason. Terrence
Yeah.
Howard, Ed Norton, keep your ego out of it. I'm just kidding.
And now Cheadle's a scroll. So
Yeah, exactly. I can't think of another one.
Really?
I was like,
Okay.
Oh,
There's
shit.
another
there's
one.
3 more.
There is 3 more.
There is 3
I
more.
will say they're not.
They're not main characters.
They're
I know
not.
that.
Exactly.
It has to be minor ones, but
But I would say some of these are like major characters for the movies that they were recasted for.
good God,
I
Shit.
win.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but it
No,
was
no, no.
like
I understand where you're coming from. I just I'm trying.
yeah, it's like they cast someone and then they're like, well, shoot, in this movie, we gotta go. We gotta get someone else.
John,
Someone
hurry
else,
up.
yeah. Shit.
He's trying to stall. He's working the system.
I'm not stalling.
Like,
If
it's
you
like
want
Red
another
Hulk.
clue, there's another actor
No.
who was just like, I don't want to do anymore. And so they were like, okay, well,
oh shit!
recast.
Really?
I know. Damn,
Who
I
the
don't
fuck
even
was that?
remember.
Let me
I'm
see.
confusing you. I'm giving you 2 different actors and
Yeah,
2
but
different
they,
reasons.
but why would an act? I mean, why wouldn't they be? Or why would they be? Why wouldn't they be recasted
Hey,
if that?
I am
happened?
okay if he passes his turn to me and then he goes.
Okay.
he goes again.
Do you want to do that?
Yes, do it.
Wait, how about this? But then you have to get 2. No, I'm just kidding. That would technically be fair. Drew.
Fandral, Zachary Levi.
that's a big one.
That is a good one. Fucking hell.
That didn't count towards the 2 clues I gave you. Like, these 2 other people are still here.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that guy, I think, left because he wanted to be on Once Upon a Time.
In
the
Mexico?
show.
I was kidding. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Damn. Solid
And so
show.
that was kind of happening, you know?
Also, Zachary Levi.
John, I have it. There's an easy one. Easy one in one of the Team 'em Up movies.
I don't fucking know. That's
Team 'em
fucking
up
wild.
movie.
John, I pass it to me again.
Oh,
I'm
wait,
just
no.
kidding.
Like, I guess, like, James Spader to Ross Mariquin?
No.
So, no.
No.
Drew,
I
you
guess
won,
Drew
but
won
can
already.
what can you think
Red
of?
Skull
Yeah.
in Infinity War, Endgame, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's another to Ross Mariquin. I
Yeah,
guess,
but you
it
said
was
Ultron.
James Spader.
You're right. Wait,
But
what?
I said James Spader.
You
so
said
I
James
guess-
Spader. It's
Yeah,
Hugo
that's-
Weaving.
Yeah,
Yeah, Hugo
His Red
Weaving to
Skull.
Ross Mariquin.
Yeah,
though.
but you
like,
said Ultron.
He's
I've
he's the
'cause
one.
he
But
does
he
play
did,
Ultron.
yeah, and What
You're
If,
right, you're
correct.
But Hugo Weaving is the one that said, I don't want to
Yes.
do it. Like, I
Yep.
don't do makeup. I don't do any of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The other one, the last one.
Hold on, let me think.
Oddly enough, they recast a supporting actor in this movie, partially because of age.
Sam Elliott to William Hurt as
Shut the fuck up.
General Thunderbolt
It
Ross.
is not. They recast Cassie Lang
Oh, yeah.
for
Oh, yeah, damn, that
you're
one-
right,
Ant-Man
you're right,
with
yeah.
Catherine Newton.
That one I would
they
have never
recast Emmy
got.
Furman. Yeah,
I remember that. I just don't remember.
It's
the
like
name.
memorable, but for some reason, I always now think it's Catherine Newton all the time. I'm
Damn.
like, I don't even remember.
Dude, that's crazy
bro.
that I almost had them all.
You almost did. You almost
Yeah,
caught
that's
caught them all. Okay, let's talk about the 2. I don't want to say cameos.
John, you won.
The 2 characters that, well, we already talked about. Betty Ross, I think. A little bit. Liv Tyler, back in the MCU.
Yep, she's back.
Dude.
Great.
It also,
I
like,
think she was she retired from acting? She hasn't done acting in a while.
I love The Strangers. Remember The Strangers?
Yeah, that was a
You
while
like
ago.
giving
Though. That
yourself
was
some
before the
strangers.
Hulk or something like that.
That was a
could've
lot.
been-
Yeah, that was like an indie movie, I think, compared to.
dude, I remember a couple of those strangers you keep sitting on your hand. You almost had to amputate it.
Okay, yeah. I just told someone about that. What that is?
And what did they think? What was their reaction? Were they like kind of? They were willing.
They were wondering if it was healthy. Like,
Oh, probably not.
I was like, no, you're cutting off circulation.
Yeah, you don't
to
have
your
any blood.
hand, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you almost had to amputate
Your lifespan of your hand.
It would be
you
like
just,
an embarrassing ER visit.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
well, that's why you're only, like, you're not supposed to tie it off. Jesus fucking Christ. You're just supposed to sit on it so that it goes back to normal for a little bit.
I thought you're supposed to do it until it was like purple.
Yeah, and then you just cut your hand
I was
off
like-
and then do it with it. Or
I was like, I
something.
don't know how long of these sessions that you're taking on here, but
The real stranger is
The friends we made along the way.
Liv Tyler has been in some movies.
Yeah, in a couple, I think.
Obviously, yeah. Like Armageddon.
yeah, damn, that's a fucking solid one. First movie that ever made me cry.
I can't give you more because there's no filmography button. Oh no, there it is.
That thing you do.
The last thing she was
wait.
in
Is it
was
that thing?
Ad Astra.
At
Yeah, but that's unfair because she's in it for like I don't think she has
her
lines
voice.
in Ad Astra.
Oh shit.
No, she's in it,
Okay.
but it's like out of focus and like away and no speaking. Anyways, who cares about that?
She
Ad
makes,
Astra- well, I
she
mean,
makes her
she's
cinematic
back, though. Yeah,
return.
She's back.
yeah.
She is so back.
That's cool. I guess in terms of like we were talking about, like
Stacking
this is
the
like
cast.
this is like Hulk sequel. Like it's cool to acknowledge
Yeah.
that. And then Betty Ross has been, again like erased.
MIA.
You don't hear anything
She's so much.
on the banner side or
Yeah.
something like that. And so
Yeah, she's the reason why Bruce does so much of the stuff that he does, and so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really,
it's-
really cool
yeah.
to kind of
it
at
was
least
his
give
original
us hope.
motivation. His original motivation to become human again, so that he can be with Betty.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And so it's kind of crazy because he's been taking some weird
Yeah.
like side quests. He's
Just-
like, let me hit this Black Widow.
The
real
irony,
quick.
though, the irony of her being like, "Look, Bruce has this thing. He's crazy. I gotta call whatever." And now her dad. Ugh.
yeah.
It's not
And
even
so-
like a different
and
ailment. It's
and
the
I already-
same.
I already told you that
ailment.
in the comics she gets it too. The red She-Hulk, baby.
That's true. I wonder.
Yeah.
Man, she should have been in She-Hulk. That would have been really good.
Maybe
would've been-
season 2, baby.
I think that would have been some sort of
Yeah.
comedic thing, but it's pretty.
I'm
funny.
also down.
The other character, and this was the biggest applause moment of my movie, was
The
Sebastian
leader.
Stan
Oh yeah.
popping in as Bucky Barnes before his election, and Oscar-nominated Sebastian Stan, I think, right? Playing the
Huge.
president.
Huge.
Wow, full
Mhm.
circle. What do you think about that moment? And I mean, very heartfelt moment. I think for
He slimmed down for this role
Yeah.
from the last role. I'll tell you what, our fat ass president.
I suspect I don't know this as a fact, but I suspect one of the I suspect one of the like reshot new sequences.
Yeah,
you
right?
can
Like
tell
it felt
felt
a
very.
little
we were
like-
talking about it earlier that Thunderbolts was supposed to release before this, but the strike happened and then dun dun. So
Yeah,
they had to put something in, sneak it in.
Sebastian
it-
Stan wouldn't cross the picket line.
It does feel
like
very
Drew
kind of a little
Barrymore.
fan servicey. You know, I saw it with kind of like
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it in the morning, so the theater wasn't really full, so I didn't get like the pop.
It's
you
just-
can feel that it's shot to get like some sort of weird like
Boom.
yeah,
Yeah.
To get some sort of crowd reaction.
Yeah.
They're like, check out Thunderbolts
And-
coming to you in 2 months.
It fell flat in my theater only because there was a few people. It was just me and a couple of other
It hit in mine. I think it's
it
because
hit mine
it's
also.
pretty nostalgic to see the two of them
together again. Yeah, it's
together.
awesome.
And there's like it's odd because Wilson, even though Danny or
Danny.
Joaquin Torres is his circle now, and Isaiah Bradley is also like his trainer now. Like they do feel a little new
Yeah,
and
Little green.
a little green, and you know it's freaking Bucky, and you're like, oh my god, these
Dude,
two.
this guy was here since the first Avenger, bro.
They got snapped on Wakanda together. Damn.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
went
Snip,
through it.
snap.
So that I think helps, but it also made me feel like, you know, maybe it's one of the only people he could be honest with.
Well, and I think it helps that they have a bromance in real life that people love.
Yep,
And then
yep, yep.
also, like, some of the character moments. Do you remember in Civil War where Homeboy's kissing Sharon Carter and they're like, move your seat up? And so a lot of those moments where they fight Spider-Man for the first time,
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah,
couldn't do
yeah.
that earlier. And then obviously the show. So
Yeah.
if this wasn't in the original cut, I don't know how you would have missed it.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, even if he's doesn't have the arm out or it's just words, because that's
They're like the closest friends, and I can't imagine
Yeah,
them
yeah.
not like
Yeah.
if you're like, oh
they-
my gosh,
they lost Steve Rogers, like they lost their
Together.
best friend, like both of them lost their friend.
trauma. They trauma bonded.
And so it's just really cool
Yeah.
because I think that's Sam Wilson's biggest power is his words, and it was before he had the shield with the counseling. He talks down Red Hulk. He talks down
Sure.
Thaddeus Ross even before Red Hulk, and here's Bucky giving him.
Just some more, a little bit of
Yeah,
validation.
like he's giving him his
Yeah.
own medicine, like one of the few characters because Steve can't be there anymore, so you can't give him that.
Would you? Because he's running for Congress, right, or something?
Would I vote for him?
yeah.
Would you vote for him?
Dude, keep metahumans out of our elections.
I like think of Bucky Barnes, and I'm like, I think he's mech.
Dude,
I'm not even joking. Like, I'm
dude,
like
he killed Howard
JFK.
Stark.
He
And
killed
Howard-
JFK.
killed JFK.
And,
What
and
was
Howard
at the
Stark.
point?
That wasn't him.
yeah.
That wasn't Red Hulk. I mean, that wasn't Thaddeus Ross.
not
That wasn't
joking.
Red Hulk.
He's probably on his way to do a Rogan pod and win.
Dude,
like
it was
in
a
this,
scroll, dude. It was a scroll. It was in the 90s. Who's to say?
Wow.
Every crime illegitimized.
I mean, if he
Didn't he get Artem Zola's help?
Hey, pardon everybody. Was it OJ or was it a scroll?
Or was it the Winter Soldier?
if I did it, scroll style.
Scroll out.
That is pretty. I did like that. And then there's a callback to a later scene where I think there's a callback to the moment where he's talking with Bucky. Sam is down on his luck. The Red Hulk has not been knocked out by the by this giant energy surge that he put out from his suit.
Oh, yeah.
And then Sam is like, I should have taken the serum. Bucky's full of shit.
Man, I felt
That was too
that in
funny.
my bone because I mean that's a huge part of Falcon and Winter Soldier because they only have a couple of these serums left.
Right, yeah,
The
yeah.
flag smashers.
Well, and to
are
be
out.
honest, there's too many. Like we're talking about Thunderbolts, and there's like 3 super soldiers on that team. Red Guardian.
True,
You have
yeah.
Bucky, super soldier, and then you have. Wait, there's one more. Tell me what the third one is.
That's it.
No. There's
Oh,
another.
Ghost.
No.
Ghost is not. She's
But she's super.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
true.
There's another
She's
super
glitching.
soldier.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Taskmaster too, to an extent, a little
Yeah.
bit. But yeah, I was like, damn, there's too many of them. Isaiah Bradley. There's a
super
lot.
soldier.
There's a lot
Super
of,
soldiered out. U.S.
Yeah.
agent is the other super soldier.
Man,
he
I
has
would've-
the super soldier serum.
This is like not anything to do with like the actual quality of the movie, but Isaiah Bradley fighting that Red Hulk would have been sick. Like
That would have
At
been
that-
sick.
that would've been
So
pretty
so
cool.
they said the thing
he
that
should
was,
have on your lefted Sam.
so there was a I know he's like on your right,
what?
and then because the red is right.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, right wing.
What?
They ain't blue. I'm just kidding.
On your far left.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You're right in the middle. Right in the middle. Right above you.
Right down the middle. That's what the movie ended up being.
Yeah, exactly.
They said the thing that was allegedly cut out was at the very beginning he was supposed to be taking on the Serpent Society, which was supposed to be the original title of Civil War.
I almost forgot
so-
that whole part is in the
And
movie.
it got. I mean,
The
a
Serpent
wrestler was
Society?
cast as one of Seth Rollins was cast, and they
I
had filmed
remember
stuff.
that.
And so that was supposed to be originally
But
what
he's
they
not
fought.
in the movie at all.
No, he's not.
Okay.
No.
And so they cut it out completely. And
Damn.
so it was supposed to be Team Cap, Falcon, 2 Caps. So it was Isaiah Bradley, Falcon Cap, and then Falcon.
I'm in. I'm locked in. I like
and they
that.
would have been taking on the Serpent Society for the adamantium. And
That's
eventually,
pretty good.
one of the things, and that's why Isaiah Bradley gets invited to the White House, because in this one, it feels like he flip flops so quick. Like the government betrayed me. All right, I'll go to the White House, and then he goes real quick. So that's why
Yeah.
it kind of felt a little bit choppy there.
Yeah.
And they allegedly said that adamantium was supposed to absorb gamma. So that thing that he kicks into Red Hulk, it should have been a piece of adamantium that he kicks in there. It absorbs the gamma. It kills Ross. It was supposed to kill Ross because his heart was supposed to stop. He pops back up in the mid-credit scene after his funeral at Betty's door as the Red Hulk, disappears.
How did you feel about having him being a sympathetic character?
Unrealistic. No presidents like that.
Hey, people don't change,
Well,
baby.
that's why I'm
just
like,
kidding.
the movie, in a way, was set up for Harrison Ford and Ross to have like this really big redemption arc.
I think I liked it. I mean, it's in terms of
Maybe
like where the
bigger
character
than
comes
anything
from.
Sam Wilson experiences. In the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. I think there's more of an arc there with Ross
Well,
than there
and-
is with Sam Wilson. Definitely.
So I want to know when that redemption, like when he was planning to redeem himself, because he was supposed to pardon the leader when he got to be president, and then it was 5 months later, and
That's a little weird.
like
yeah.
he was like, "Oh man, I'll
Keep
get
him
to,
in there.
I'll get there eventually," or
Well,
like he was
said-
working
he
down
said
to
that
it,
he
or
was afraid that the pills wouldn't be made if he pardoned him.
but
like-
yeah, and so yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
maybe stop those pills too. Like,
yeah, maybe
Doing
it's
great.
time. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
well,
But,
yeah.
yeah. Well, and maybe he would have stopped as soon as Betty would have reconciled with him.
yeah,
and
he was
then,
okay with dying. Maybe
and
after
that was
that.
that was the only reason why he had been there, you know. But essentially now Red Hulk saved him, and I think Red Hulk's not gonna let him die. I don't
that's
think
true.
it's like a Green
And
Hulk.
he's sort of
Like you're my vessel, bro. Shit.
gives up too, right? Like, I mean, he obviously comes down from being the Red Hulk. Another shirtless scene from Harrison Ford, who is also shirtless in
Dude, I thought it was the girl.
Indiana Jones.
I thought it was the girl from the fucking bathtub from The Shining. When
Oh,
I
come
saw
on.
when it
No,
came
that's
down.
so
messed
mean.
up.
I
That's
was like,
messed
dang.
up.
He is pretty built.
He's
Calista-
still got it.
Holy
Calista
fuck.
Flockhart
Yeah.
is having fun there.
Oh god.
What? Damn. Oh.
Damn.
But in a way, for
Yeah, the
me,
hat stays on,
But that was a
remember?
choice. That was a choice to be like sympathetic, quote unquote, villain in the movie. You know, and that's not necessarily.
I think that's
a
why
path
everyone
they go
lives.
through.
I'm bringing this back. The hat stays
mean,
on.
yeah, he
remember
would-
at the very end of
Yeah,
Indy
Andy.
5?
He's like
What's
that.
the Hulk version of that?
Hey, he
the
had-
pants stay on.
Hey, that whip's long still. It rolls out like a fucking red carpet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And that's kind of like maybe I need to noodle on it, watch it again.
Told you no one dies.
But when that becomes when that becomes clear that he was, and that happens early on. It's not even the last fight scene that we decide that Harrison Ford as Ross is just gonna maybe just be a pawn for
Something else,
something else. Because there's a path where he is just straight on the Red Hulk, and then you got to defeat the Red Hulk somehow,
exactly, yeah.
Abomination style. Maybe send him to what
Obama
dimension he
stay.
got sent to. He got sent off to
okay.
go fight in some
They would just send
other
him.
MCU movie. Remember?
Yeah, it was Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi? Okay, yeah.
Well,
Send
they
him off
send
there.
him off to
That Fight
Abomination's yoga studio.
The
Obama
Obama
stay.
Yeah, that'd be super funny to do that.
You should have just
but
called in the Hulk and Abomination to come squash this motherfucker.
That would, I mean, for them not having the Hulk, we're using a lot of Hulk. Like, we got Hulk. Hulk is everywhere.
Yeah.
She-Hulk, my gosh. Any big moment, like big, we talk about fights a lot, but I know we talked about the aerial fight.
The aerial fight is probably good.
And
Like,
that
really
stab with
good.
the big old, the kinetic energy where he
Yeah.
stabs him with the one wing. Could you imagine if he had 2 wings? Ooh, no wonder
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
that Hulk
actually.
ripped that other one off.
Now
'Cause
I'm thinking,
you could tell. I thought it was gonna overload, like it was just gonna blow his ass up.
Mhm.
Because you could tell he was looking at it like, damn, I've never stored this much energy ever in my life.
that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
And
that
it
is a very cool
absorbs
part,
to
yeah.
send
Oh
out.
shit!
Where do you
It
think
was a little
that?
bomb.
Well, first of all, who do you think's the president now? It's got to be the vice president, right? And
Well, yeah.
Do we see him ever?
I kind
or
of wish
her?
they would have had, like maybe someone in the background to where they would have kind of fixed that because that The movie does kind of end a little like abruptly when it comes to that, because then you do get kind of like a flash forward a little bit,
Yeah.
like
The White House is
the
gone.
White House is being rebuilt. No, already, and they're like, now it's heading towards normalcy, and I was like, really? Like, all right, like we just
was
saw like a
crazy.
They're gonna
giant,
put
like,
repulsor shields around the White House. Like after
Yeah.
this, it's gonna be super high tech.
It is. I mean, the biggest set piece, the finale image in the movie, is the White House being destroyed by a Hulk fight, and the cherry blossoms of the Capitol being, he's Hulk jumping onto the National Monument.
Dude, Spider-Man
Yeah,
was
yeah.
there
I
destroying
know. I
that
thought
thing a
about
little
that too. I
bit.
was like, damn.
Well, and I think that's another part of why I love Sam Wilson's Cap, because the whole movie, he's saving people. Where it's like the hostages. Like, I don't care about the package. Like, I'm gonna go save the hostages. And it's the same thing when the Red Hulk is rampaging. He's like kind of doing damage control and saving people as he goes.
Just
and
yeah,
more of like I need to
distracting
get
him.
him out of here, like
Yeah.
from people. So just the complete opposite of Superman and Zack Snyder. I'm just kidding.
He's
And Zack
definitely
Snyder's
more.
movie.
Yeah, and I just realized now too, like he's that's the first time he meets. The first time he says "on your left" with with Sam
Cap,
or
yeah.
Sam and Cap
The
is
original
like
Cap, yeah.
around that National Mall, right, when they're running or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's kind of I didn't notice that. It's kind of big full circle. I think the big things. I mean, obviously, this movie's gonna have a big impact on the MCU going forward. Like adamantium is huge. Like there's a Wolverine coming around.
Recreating the Avengers, probably
Yeah.
really big.
Yeah. You got the leader kind of. Well, I guess we haven't gotten to the post-credit scene, but in that post-credit scene,
Yeah,
the
go.
leader,
We can talk about it.
Dude, he's like feet away from Ross. Very dangerous situation for Ross.
the leader is coming around to he knows that there's multiversal threats.
Probabilities, baby.
Yeah, coming through.
I forgot that's a huge part of his thing is like percentages.
Yeah. He's a very smart dude. You can see his brain. His
Yeah.
big brain.
You talking about he hangs brain.
Yeah, he does literally.
Hey, 99% of the time, it works
works.
every time.
You have a celestial like island now that everyone kind of knows about. So like the Eternals are out there still.
We can finally put that because remember we were watching all these movies. We're like, damn, isn't that the
Dude,
fucking Celestial?
Kingo and
Yeah.
fucking Hela teamed up in
It's
What
so
If.
funny. So Sophia still hasn't seen Eternals. So she was like, damn, that's a big thing. And I'm like, there's a bigger thing in that movie
Yeah, exactly.
that like
There's one that's alive.
pops up at the end. And she's like, what is that movie? And I'm like, well,
Chloe
She'll
Zhao.
probably not.
you'll never know.
You're like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah, I
she's
guess
doing
so.
Buffy the Vampire
And then I
Slayer
was
next.
like, Angela Jolie's in it. Selma Hayek is in this movie.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's true.
it's directed by Nomadland, the director.
But those are the big takeaways out of this movie. And then Cap, Cap is Cap now. So
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Replace Steve Rogers at Avengers Campus. We don't need him.
Yeah.
We got a new Cap.
Yeah, and I'm okay
Cap,
with it.
Cap took down the president.
Yes, as a
Wow,
whole.
as a whole.
was a
yeah,
Hulk.
Exactly.
Crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Any other things about the future of the MCU, especially as it relates to this? I mean, Young Avengers, big. That's or the new Avengers, but
Well,
I'm thinking Young.
And some people were shitting all over the after credit scene about the leader and all that. But to me, I have to at least try to defend it. But with the Kang the Conqueror thing not panning out, I don't blame them for being vague.
Yeah.
Where they're like, they're coming, or
mean,
he's on his way,
we're getting
no, we're moving on.
We're getting a
up.
Fantastic Four, which is obviously in a different.
universe.
Yeah.
And
Plays.
So it's like, dude, and I told John, I said it probably will end up being some sort of bizarro Avengers fighting the
For sure,
real
yeah,
Avengers.
yeah.
So Downey Jr. is
Captain
Doom.
Hydra.
Captain Hydra will be Chris Evans' rumored role. I wouldn't doubt that they're going to bring a couple of the other dead Avengers back and
There's
give them
another
big
Black
paydays.
Widow, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like bring her back as some villain or whatever. And it's going to be kind of like an inverse thing. And so I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
But they don't want to say anything for sure because things change because
But
people
also,
change.
they've
and
already changed.
Yeah,
quite a
exactly.
bit, yeah.
And they
And so
probably don't know themselves. They're
They don't.
probably still
and
writing.
People
Yeah.
forget about the. Remember, there used to be after credit scenes that just used to be jokes, and people never
Absolutely.
complained about shit like that.
Yeah. And then I
suddenly,
prefer this, which is a great kind of in between something we may never see,
Not
which has
too-
been happening a
not
lot.
too much, not too little.
Yeah, post Endgame, some of these after credit scenes are like, damn. And then I know they're never
You're like-
going to reference
To
it
touch them again.
ever
You're like,
again.
what is on its way over here from Shang-Chi? Like they
What
created
in
the 10
hell?
rings.
I know. They're
All
like,
it's on its
Kangs,
way.
it's like these objects aren't from our dimension.
There's like thousands of Kangs. And then
I know
that's
that
not
are
coming.
partying in another universe.
So
some sort of a
I know
Kang
those
orgy.
I think those are fun to see, but It's
You're
okay just to be
promising
like,
too
hey,
much.
there's other dimensions.
Hey, bro,
baby."
the world might blow up next year.
And I'll be like,
Stop-
okay,
stop thinking so far ahead.
believe it, you know. But also, how
Be in the now,
do
bro.
you think
Shit.
that it is going to just become a little bit like Valentina going around getting her Thunderbolts, but it could be Sam Wilson rebuilding the Avengers, and we watch a movie, and it's Blade or something, and he's like, "Hey, Blade,
You want to be in the Avengers?
we need a vamp. We need a daywalker. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
need someone in the daytime, you know, or whatever." Like that could be him fulfilling. Although Nick Fury's still alive, might be a Skrull. I don't know, but you know,
yeah, yeah.
he could be fulfilling
He's
that
dating a
kind of
Skrull.
thing. He is dating, so you
Yeah,
like
little-
that Skrull, yeah.
But a bunch of little one-eyed green kids running around.
He got the space fever. I also think, yeah, that's totally possible. And Mackie, I think, is an Avenger of the level of a Nick Fury type now.
Yeah, yeah.
To be doing that,
Dude,
If he needed to.
Cap fought Iron Man again, Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson would stomp the shit out of Riri
Yeah.
Williams. I'm just kidding.
And that's kind of like any other things y'all want to talk about?
No, I think that future stuff, the future stuff is pretty cool because like I think that's it's exciting. We're not gonna wait that long because I think Avengers Doomsday is set for next year in 2026.
Oh,
And Thunderbolts is
So-
right around the corner.
Yeah, and so like I think we're gonna get the next big tease because the next movie that's
tease.
you know
that's kind of wild because we're like we're like we got the gauntlet the last time and we're like counting stones and shit. And we're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, last stone.
Yeah, now we're
and this
like-
one I'm kind of like
we
well,
haven't
what's gonna
measured what
happen?
the multiverse can do yet.
Yeah.
You know, like we've only seen a little bit in
Sure.
here and there. So
You
like
saw
we
it
don't
in
know-
Spider-Man when it brought 3 Spider-Men together.
I mean,
Yeah.
if anything, after Endgame, you should know there are multiverses by now. Like
Right,
that is the overarching.
I told you,
But
it's
how do
gonna
you
be-
how do you make that into the threat that it's like that it's
Yeah.
supposed to be? Like,
especially after Loki, where I'm like, damn, Loki
Dude,
was,
so when you see Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom grabbing Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and yanking him and killing him out of
God damn.
existence, you're gonna be like, "Oh shit,
That's gonna be cool, yeah,
that's gonna be
but-
crazy."
But I know that Avengers Doomsday I think is next year. So
that's
like
crazy.
so we're going to get some sort of actual tease on that at the end
Some
of
sort of-
Fantastic Four. You know, because like Fantastic Four is the last Marvel movie of this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's other Marvel shows that are coming out, but I don't know if they're
What
gonna have
other
any
shows?
multiversal. Like there's Ironheart, there's Wonder
Oh,
Man.
Yeah. I was like, what else is next? 'Cause
Daredevil was next. Actually,
Daredevil is the one that's actually
next,
next.
yeah.
Yeah,
Next,
and
next.
that's a lot. So
And
that's
see-
not like a
and-
Disney Plus level couple episodes.
But that's what
Yeah.
I'm seeing. I mean about the double standard is like people are okay when it's a ground level, like when we're at ground level when it's Daredevil, but we're at Captain America. Everyone's like, what the fuck? How come you're not fighting 3 Thanoses and Loki at the
Oh my
same
God,
time?
Daredevil's next month.
Yes.
Yeah. Daredevil's pretty soon.
And then it's Thunderbolts,
Thunderbolts in May.
and then
Ironheart in June.
And then Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four in July.
And Superman.
And then we actually get a Wakanda animated series in August.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
It's
Is that the Midnight Angels ones, or is that the ones that remember?
no,
we're
it's just called Tales of the Wakanda.
It's called
or something.
Eyes
Oh,
of
cool.
Wakanda.
Oh, Eyes
now.
of Wakanda.
So that kind of
that's gonna be a really cool
flip-flop switch.
tie-in with Avengers Campus.
Yeah. And Marvel Zombies, October 2025.
I'm stoked because it's rated T for teen or something like that.
Wonder Man
Yeah,
is
it's the
coming out
last
this
one.
year.
Yeah,
too.
Abdul
That's
Mateen.
it.
Wonder
Yeah.
Man
Get
is
paid.
is the thing, and then I
Get
think
paid.
Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken, the movie will be before
July
Doomsday?
20. Well, actually,
Or it's
no.
after Doomsday?
Avengers Doomsday, May 1st, 2026. This may
is
change,
crazy. Yeah,
but you're
you're
right.
right.
We only got a couple movies before this Avengers
Aven-
Doomsday movie, but it does say Doomsday. So keep that in mind, everyone. Like it's
The DC
We may
villain
al-
might pop up.
we may yeah.
Just kidding.
Doctor Doom the video.
Doomsday from he's gonna
game.
kill Superman.
And then
in the
it's Spider-Man 4, July 24th, and then Secret Wars, May 2027.
Movie.
So we're-
It's full steam
we're
ahead,
at the
baby.
end of
This
the
is just
multi-
the start right
Yeah.
now.
This is the start. This is like with
This is a new beginning.
It's the start and the end of this
exactly.
phase.
It's the beginning.
Fantastic Four will be the beginning and end of Avengers Doomsday.
Today is the day
The first day of the rest of
that
Yeah.
President Ross finally became president. How to say?
Well, and it's hard to not think of
our journey of life has just begun.
the number one, and it's gonna work. This Doomsday thing is gonna work because the number one like piece of entertainment news all of last year was Robert Downey
Downey
Jr.
Jr. back.
Dude,
doing that.
I
mask
guarantee
thing.
you that thing saved San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah.
People are gonna go the next year just because they're like, dude,
Yeah.
you never know what the fuck that's gonna happen.
And they've always got they've got many Hail Marys. If they really freak out and
Throw in
really
the
need
X-Men.
to
Throw in, bring in the X-Men quick.
yeah.
You know,
Tomorrow.
stat.
Yeah. But yeah. Final thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World, John?
It is a rocking good time.
Okay.
No, I'm just playing. It's a. Well,
You have to save that for. Let's see, Fantastic Four for
That's true. That
thing.
sounded something a little bit
Rocket.
Yeah, you're right. I'll have to remember that.
Smashing good time. Wait, does Red Hulk
It's
say
clobbering good time.
It's clobbering time.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. This is a smashing good time though. Captain America: Brave New World, pretty good MCU flick. I thought everything about it was kind of fun. The acting, the performances are great. I think Anthony Mackie really, it's weird to say because he's always been around. Anthony Mackie's a great actor and stuff like that. But,
Clarence, 8 Mile.
but he was but he really took the stage here as the new Captain America, and I bought it. It was awesome. Harrison Ford as General Ross and Red Hulk. He was great. They worked with what they had, and it was, they obviously elevated from like a guy, from a script that was written by like 5 or 6 writers and shit.
That's something I looked at. I was like, wow, there's
Yeah,
a lot of people working on this
that script, yeah.
And Harrison Ford and Mackie, they've been in a movie together. Did you know that? Hollywood Homicide.
Oh shit! There's a reunion. I was gonna say a reunite nation. Reunion.
A
Reunite Nation, rise up, reunite.
It's fun. I like the fact that it's a Hulk sequel, and it brings back a lot of forgotten elements from that movie, which means that movie will probably get some love in the future. Just if someone's gonna watch that movie, like, what the fuck was all that, and then just watch this, like,
That's like 20 years.
Okay,
It's close to 20
Almost,
years
yeah.
ago. That's how far
yeah,
away
yeah,
Incredible
like
Hulk is.
16 years, I think, in this case, right, or something.
They should have brought Norton back. That would have been funny.
That would have been wild. And if Norton comes back as a variant.
So that's what I had said. Is that
would be
they
wild.
could do, because you can bring back like fucking Terrence Howard. You can fight War Machine, and so if you
But
have
you know how
inverses
fucked
for
up
people,
that would be to be like, oh,
he
we're
could be Grey
bringing-
Hulk.
That's true. Yeah.
I told you, and so that's why it's comic book lore, where it's like,
Yeah,
just turn
Eric
him into the Grey
Bana.
Hulk. Yeah.
Bill Bixby.
If I was
wait, no,
Ruffalo, I'd
shit.
be kind of bad though. I'd be like,
If Norton said no, then just bring in Bana. It's a
or
multiverse.
Bixby. No, I'm just playing. Sorry, that's enough of that Bixby jokes. Yeah, great. Fun movie. I think everyone's gonna, everyone who watches it will probably, like, if they're listening to the hype online. I mean, they might skew their opinion to fit whatever they've read, but I almost kind of guarantee you that, like, the average moviegoer or even your average MCU lover is probably going to come in and watch this and kind
Absolutely.
of walk away very satisfied. So
I think
thought it was great.
especially if you watched everything.
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
you watch Eternal, like if you watched everything, I think this is like a solid
Yeah. I think it's
MCU outing.
I think it really does complement your knowledge if you've watched all those things. I think you definitely need to have seen like Hulk and Falcon and Winter
Yeah.
Soldier to know what the fuck is going on.
In some ways, the show is maybe a better dive into Sam Wilson than
than this
this
movie.
movie.
Yes, I'll agree with that. And there is a better
like we meet his family
yeah,
in the show.
better stuff there, but like but I was not disappointed by what we got in this flick, and yeah, I dug it.
Drew, final thoughts on Brave New World.
I liked it a lot. I think Anthony Mackie and the new Captain America earned their stripes here, and it's pretty cool to get a sequel to the Hulk and kind of to the Eternals, because I enjoyed both of those projects, Incredible Hulk and Eternals, and to touch upon what's to come, like the mutants of with Adamantium and X-Men, and with the leader kind of foreshadowing the
That's a lot of
the Secret Wars.
adamantium, right?
And so that's what I mean. Like, there has to be something. Like I told John, I said maybe Magneto can turn it into the big island, and he takes it up to
Yeah.
the sky, because
You gotta get rid of some of
you
it,
have to.
because
You have to
there's no
get rid of
way.
it. Yeah, and not all of that is going into Wolverine. Some of it's going to go into the Silver Samurai. Some of it's going to go
Damn,
into
can you imagine?
Lady Deathstrike. Some
Yeah,
of it's
but
going to
that's
go into
still-
Wolverine.
That's way too much.
Yeah,
Still.
correct.
You could
And
name,
so-
I think, every adamantium used.
For sure. And so
That's
that's
stronger than vibranium.
it's supposed. This one, yes, it is in this one. And so they'll make Cap a new shield out of it, and
I
they'll
think like in the comics, it's
retrofit.
adamantium vibranium, like it's one thing.
I think they mix it.
Yeah. Like,
But-
what is Wakanda? Don't you think they want to be?
Now Wakanda,
At the table?
Hey, Wakanda's prices are plummeting now, bro. They're crashing on the stock
Their
market.
meme coin.
They do not control.
That's crazy. There's so much adamantium. Fuck. I forgot what I was gonna say.
There's a lot of adamantiums.
There's
on,
so much adamantium on that
On-
celestial.
island that they need to get rid of it,
Yeah. And
because I told you, like, it's only his whole hand and head sticking out.
yeah,
And so as you go down,
much like an iceberg.
the
Sometimes
Eiffel
there's more
Tower,
underneath.
the Eiffel Tower,
There's more
that's his PP.
I can't, that much ass
That
No,
much-
it didn't work out. It's not as organic. Now I'm,
Dude.
I'm trying to shoehorn ass in there.
I know it's all caked up. That's why. And under the ocean, the fucking Talocans are gonna take refuge in that bitch and now as if the war wasn't already escalated with the
You've
Wakandans.
seen a celestial too. They have like a pretty caked up like.
Well, and
ass,
you know
like,
they're in the fetal position because his legs would be sticking out of the South Pole. Right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And so
And
he was being birthed, and so he cracked the surface only, but the rest
Crack.
of it. I told you, you're gonna see some kind of yoga pose, downward dog type of shit,
I'd be. You know what?
and it's all adamantium, baby, because of Cersei.
I bet the Celestial has a tiny peen.
Oh, because you can't see it. No,
Yeah.
I told you, but he's also in the fetal position.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably almost tucked under his chin. That was probably the thing that was next coming out.
Is it dead?
I
think
guess
it's
so.
asleep.
What?
Technically,
Nah,
yeah.
They're refining it right now. It's
I think
alive.
they're like, isn't that a
They're
Marvel
mining
Comics
it.
thing though?
They're
Like a
mining
Marvel
it.
Comics thing is like there's a sleeping celestial that is an island.
But he
and-
was being birthed, and once you stop something from being birthed halfway,
Okay, we cannot get too political.
I
here.
know. But if you freeze it, okay,
That's true. Or turn it to metal.
it's
Like,
done.
where
Were you in the middle of your final thoughts, or were you?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Were you
maybe.
just starting it? I don't
I'm
remember.
unsure, but yeah. Anyway, cool movie, solid movie. I loved just seeing, just having the MCU back. I think in the cinema because I had a good time, and part of that might be because of the low bar that everyone had set for it because of the outlets saying it sucked or whatever, and. I was like, man, I kind of want to see for myself, but Kendrick Lamar played at the end of it too, which I
heard
thought
that.
was cool.
Yeah,
Um,
he's having a moment.
and another connection to the Black Panther movie, which I love because obviously he's got the vibranium tech, but also Kendrick made the album for that. So just these little connections that these little Easter eggs and stuff that keep little nerds happy like me.
Yeah, I enjoyed the film. I think it's not the most suspenseful Captain America movie, but I think it focuses on something else, and it's got really great moments. I think, especially if you watch so much MCU stuff. I mean, we talked a lot about the Celestial Island cake, but there's also other cake. There's
yeah.
Red Hulk cake.
That's
Dude,
true. There's a lot of
if
yeah.
all the planets are eggs for Celestials, then there's fucking 8
Yeah.
more. I was getting into there's wait, how many planets? 8. Do we degrade some? Pluto's not, so
Pluto's
7
gone.
still.
I think Pluto's gone.
I thought we had put Pluto back in.
Oh,
I thought we had
shit.
sent him back
I
in the
guess we're
reserve.
behind on our
On our
It's my
scientific
planet.
research.
I think that.
But
counts.
anyway, Pluto's gonna be the runt of the litter, obviously,
little
of
one.
Celestials.
well,
but
it's. I mean, to have
Jupiter, dude, you don't want to see when Jupiter's gonna be born. I'm just telling
It
you.
reminds me a little bit of there was like a comedy show of humans that cleaned up after superhero messes. Do you remember that
yeah,
show?
it's called Damage. No, no.
Was it?
what
Do you know
is
what I'm talking about?
You're talking about
Powerless.
Powerless.
I think I got canceled, but
with
like
Alan
the show
Tudyk. It was DC.
was out for a little bit,
I
and it
liked
kind of
it.
reminds me of that because it's like here's these giant events that happen, and you know how are we dealing with it? And shoot, there's adamantium.
Michael Keaton was working for a company in Spider-Man to damage control.
That's
it. I
true.
remember
That was his whole deal. That's where he stole his vulture tech or
Yeah.
whatever. But so I enjoy that it does deal with some of the repercussions of other Marvel stuff, especially some of the bigger stake things. I think both of our leads, because I think it's fair to say that Harrison Ford as Ross is like one of the more important emotional parts of the movie. In this, I thought he did a great job. I think it is interesting, and I think a lot of people do project, I think, what they want the movie to be.
Yeah. In this day and age, yeah.
In this day and age, especially, and maybe it's fair. It's like the 35th MCU movie, and maybe
I just think it's crazy that they've all been formulaic, and people are like, "Dude, why was it so cookie cutter?" I said, to be honest, all of
Yeah.
them are cookie cutter.
and you still, you got the Red Hulk fighting Falcon America, the new Captain America.
yeah,
Like that is.
It's cool.
Like it's still cool to see, and I can't wait to see what's next. And I think that Sam Wilson is still maybe now, especially unless they all come back, which is totally possible. He's like maybe one of the most tenured and most important Avengers still around, and he's still at least trying
The
to
other
be a
ones
superhero.
are young guns.
They are.
You have these other generations that are taking over the mantles. They're the young guns, and he's still one of the, like with Doc Strange and Thor. He's kind of the ones with one of the ones with the most wisdom.
And I think that's going to play a huge part in whatever the future of the Avengers are, at least on this version of Planet. So, yeah. And I go watch the movie. I think a lot of people are. It's doing really well. I know we talked a little bit about, and I just Googled. I mean, I didn't realize that people gave it, or I guess critics gave it such bad reviews, but people like it.
Yep, the
Yeah,
audience
yeah.
scores are there.
That's what it counts.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be, it's fun that it's a President's Day movie. That's all, just,
Yeah, that's it.
it's a pretty interesting,
Well,
like, coincidence.
Marvel Rivals is popping off right now, so I think it's really, really cool because you get a lot of people who are kind of jumping on the ship because of that game, because of how relative it is in pop culture, and people are starting to, there's a lot of Hulk mains out
Yeah.
there, so why wouldn't you go check
And we
out
all-
the movie with the Red Hulk?
We're in
And
the point where we have like superheroes have their teams. It's not just Sam Wilson's Captain America.
Yeah.
He's got Isaiah Bradley.
he's
got Falcon.
He's got this other Black Widow. He's
He's-
got a Red Hulk potentially under his.
And he's got maybe like a the Secret Service agent who's helping him.
U.S. agent. Yep.
He's got he's got a cool team.
Sharon Carter. He's got
Sharon
a
Carter
yeah.
still out there.
Bucky is in Congress and shit.
Scroll,
So,
I mean,
scroll out.
Fury may still show up at some point, maybe when he's done.
Probably, yeah.
So I still like the Captain America world. I think,
Yeah,
which is our country.
that's true.
Still really enjoy it. Well, let us know what you thought. Somehow, let's go around the horn. Give some plugs, John. What do you have to plug?
I'm going to plug Revenge of the Sequel. It is 10 years. 10 years since we started this whole podcast network, and it all grew out of a little small podcast called Revenge of the Sequel. We've done hundreds of movies at this point, I'm sure. No, that's it. We've just done hundreds of movies. No, I'm just playing. No, but
We've done 100 movies.
It's
that's it.
honestly a good summer too for.
Yeah, it's a
sequels.
good summer for sequels. So like we'll be
Paddington in Peru
we'll
already
be coming
just
back
came
with
out.
that for our 10th year later this year, and you guys should check it out.
I
But
gotta write
This
a list
movie,
down
a
of-
sequel.
This is a sequel.
this is a sequel, yeah. But you should definitely check out its past seasons too, because there's some fun to be had there. So yeah, cool.
I would be interested to listen to some of the sequels that we're now at like version, and Jurassic World maybe one. Didn't we talk?
Yes,
Jurassic World?
that was a big one back in the
That'd
day.
be
Force
interesting.
Awakens, before we even had
Force
like
Awakens.
the Countdown Strikes Back, we had a Force Awakens,
Be
which was
interesting
10 years
to
ago.
listen
10
back.
years ago now.
Yeah. We are the demo for them doing this, I guess. Drew, what are your plugs?
I'm gonna put Brent first with Screen Slush. There you go, Brent.
Always put Brent first.
And then I will say
Jesus second.
That's the
I
motto
will go
here.
with
Brent
John
first,
John
Jesus second.
Escudero. We'll do the Dirty Radio. And then
Big
the
wrestling.
Countdown Strikes
yeah.
Back.
Yeah. Star Wars.
Yeah, so I put the best for last.
What do we got?
Myself.
What do we have Star Wars this year?
Nothing.
Yes,
Nothing.
this year we have Star Wars Celebration in 2
I
months
know.
in
That's
true,
Japan,
yeah.
baby. We're gonna be live from
Y'all should record
there.
an episode. Of,
We're gonna be live
I
streaming.
don't know how. Don't take your equipment, but
We're
like,
gonna
do
take
a
all
whole
the
thing.
We'll take
equipment,
it.
dude. We're gonna take it all. We're gonna buy equipment down there, better equipment for cheaper.
Straight
At
from the
Sony,
Sony.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sony.
exactly. Straight from the source, more advanced than you'll ever know here.
I'm gonna buy a PSP from the.
I'm gonna buy a
factory
Nintendo
floor.
Switch.
PSP.
I'm gonna buy a Nintendo Switch 2 before anybody gets it here because it's gonna be the release month.
And
But-
they're gonna be like, "This was made in China." All of them were made in China.
But yeah, go check out that stuff with if you like professional wrestling, Dirty Radio, and then Screen Slush with anything that can be on a screen. Brent covers, and then anything Star Wars. So I think there is something Star Wars Visions season,
there's
new
new
Visions,
season,
yeah.
But no
at
live
the very
action?
least.
No, I think
I think we might get a lot of announcements in 2 months. If that will probably be like surprise. Mandalorian and Grogu, I think, is the next thing.
Is next year, though,
yeah, pretty close. But cool to take a little break.
We have Andor. Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And that's probably going to be
Andor. That's
some
like
of the
the
best Star
fucking-
Wars
yeah.
you've ever seen.
Go
in
ahead
your
and start
life.
brewing your cup of teas and your.
Go ahead and start letting these political thoughts just let them stew in you. Keep them in you. So that way, when that show comes out, we can
know.
rebel.
It's like the opposite of a.
Hey, fuck the Empire. I'm just saying, Marvel, bro. Marvel,
that's what I'm
Marvel
saying,
was
like,
gonna
it's-
say it. I'll say it.
We talk a little bit of how Captain America: Brave New World isn't as maybe
Talk about rebelling,
maybe,
fighting
maybe
the
not as
president.
brave and as in New World as the title suggests, but Andor is going to be like
Really political.
Andor might be banned.
Trump's
that
gonna
comes
watch
out.
it and not get it and be like, "Wow, this Star Wars boring."
He's like, I don't like Rogue One. I like Rise of Skywalker.
We're the lightsabers.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back soon with more Marvel stuff. Bye.